2001: A Space Odyssey, the 1968 sci-fi epic that is considered one of the most influential and controversial motion pictures of all time. Now, if you're here looking for some deep dive analysis into the themes and messages of the film, this isn't really the right place. I'm just Tyler. But here's the thing with 2001. I don't really think it's asking you any questions. I don't believe that it's a puzzle that needs to be solved. The movie is ambiguous by design. It's largely abstract, and it elicits bewilderment and awe. It's a visual spectacle with a harmonious and grand score, and it's so immersive. It just invites you in on this trip through space and time, leaving you to wonder and interpret as much as you want. There's a huge amount of world building, but with very little dialogue. And you could watch this and be completely bored out of your mind. And that would be okay, but when I watch it, I'm just dumbstruck. I know how they pulled off these effects. I know how this was created, but sitting back and experiencing it, a film from 1968, it's simply incredible. You'll realize while you're watching it that your mind wanders. It has to. It's not throwing information at you nonstop, so you start to analyze everything. But your mind stays busy because there's always something to admire. It's that simple. But if we're going to talk about the actual themes of the movie, the concept of this alien artifact, something that you could predict is God. The way it passes knowledge and the concept of tools in the Dawn of Man segment, it's eerie and it's impactful. But then at the end, when our main character is watching himself age, and then he or it is reborn and that's the climax, you might feel stupid, or that the movie is stupid. What does it mean? What's the point? Why didn't it explain anything? The movie isn't asking you to answer questions. It actually wants you to ask questions. It simply wants to have an emotional impact on you. It wants you to reflect and just consider the concept of God and space and time. It wants you to explore these themes and ideas and hopefully have a fun experience doing it. I'm not Stanley Kubrick. I'm Tyler. And who am I to say what he would intend for the movie? But I think if you strap yourself in for a spectacle, it really is a trip. But it's not intense, right? It's like a Ferris wheel. You aren't going to be screaming and waving your arms, but you'll be admiring the absolutely stunning scenery around you at a nice, slow, comfortable speed. And if you're sitting on this Ferris wheel and you happen to be on drugs or something like that, like medical marijuana, I mean, it could be a really memorable experience. Unless you make a rookie mistake and you take too much and then you get overwhelmed and need to pause the movie because you feel like you might have a panic attack. That can happen, but it's a classic. People have been having panic attacks watching this movie for over 50 years. Also, if you're not really into that kind of stuff and you want to watch this movie sober as a squirrel, that's great. And as encouragement, the central plot is awesome. HAL 9000, the AI crew member on this ship, starts to act abnormally. And this whole segment is really exciting and exhausting. But most of all, it's just iconic and an unforgettable moment in film. That's the thing with 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's a landmark movie. It inspired and it changed cinema forever. And it's just as stunning today as it was back then. If you get nothing out of this experience, I honestly don't believe you're giving it your full attention. I mean, sure, my mind wanders too. I kept visualizing the black rectangle as a giant Hershey's bar, or an iPhone. It should be expected when the movie keeps still so often. But if you find your mind is wandering and you're bored and you stop paying attention to the movie and you aren't admiring how they accomplished each and every gorgeous shot, well, I think if you engaged with it, you'll get something valuable out of it. But it helps to know what type of movie you're getting into first. It's about life. It's about time and God. And it's beautiful. And some people don't appreciate that. They just want closure and excitement and dialogue and answers. But life is about questions. And this whole thing is literally like a mirror pointed at the audience. And it's asking you to ask the questions, to feel something, to reach out or to reach inside yourself and to ask what the meaning of life is. And I lost my train of thought. But I like this movie, and anyway, that's all. I think I'm still high.
It was late.